All right, the first thing I'm going to put on is our little tool accessory plate here. And this is a great spot to store some of these accessories that are in the other bags. So I'll cut this one open. I'm going to put it on first. And there's a few places that you can mount this on the lathe. This is one of the most handy little devices. Its original design is to be right here on the lathe, on the leg. And you can mount it this way. You can flip it upside down if you want it a little bit lower. You can actually mount it up a little bit higher. If you do mount it right here, you're going to have some interference with the handles, and you have some limitations on the headstock. So I'm going to mount it right here on the leg. It comes with these fasteners right here, 2 washers and 2 bolts. Now I'll just snug this up here with a number 6 Allen wrench. This plate could be positioned at this end of the lathe. You can even position it at the tailstock end if you wanted to get it out of your way. I think most people will mount it up here near the headstock, so we'll put it up here today. And now I'm ready to go. All right, here's our knockout bar. You're going to see this has got a nice brass tip on it so you don't damage the spur drive when you knock it out of the headstock. This will drop right into the tool tray right here. It's got a nice spot. Okay, now we've got our faceplate. This is a small diameter faceplate. It's countersunk on the back so that you can actually put some nice screws into your workpiece. We're going to thread it onto the spindle. Now you'll see that this spindle is a hardened spindle. This is an 1.25 inch by 8 TPI. This will thread right on here. And these threads are actually heat treated, so they're nice and hardened. There's a nice machined spot right here for that to land on. And then you have this lock handle that will go in here. We can use the spindle lock right here and lock this in place. Okay, now that's locked in place. This handle has its own home back in the tool tray. Okay, we've got a few more accessories here. First off, we're going to put the tool rest right into the banjo. This is a nice 1-inch post. I'll slide that down and lock it in place. And then we're going to put the spur drive and our live center right here, this little custom rack in the tailstock. That's one of the things I really like about this lathe is everything has got a nice spot for it here. So we've got storage here for some of our accessories. You could even put a drill chuck in here. And the banjo here, of course, has got this nice little split saddle right here. That allows us to go through and lock this into position. Also, the tool rest here has got a nice curve to it here that you can slide your hand along here. It's very shallow this way, so you can do some nice steep cuts with a tool. And the leading edge of this right here where your tool rest is, this is 6mm hardened tool steel. This is like drill rod, and you'll find that it's a very durable surface. It's not going to dent up or scratch up if you're taking some heavy cuts. So now that we've got these items in place here, let's grab a couple brackets and put them on the back side. Here are 2 of the coolest little items I think on the lathe here, and they're kind of underrated. They're pretty neat, and I'll show you why a little bit later here, but we've got a short bracket and we've got a long bracket. These are both cast iron. Now the short bracket takes the long bolts, and the long bracket takes the short bolts. Let's go ahead and get these mounted. First of all, let's start with the long bracket and we'll head down to the tailstock. Okay, the long bracket mounts onto the back side of the tailstock. The flat pad will go up. These 2 bolt holes right here, the threaded bolt holes, are going to go right toward the back side of the tailstock. And then the bolts, the short bolts, are going to go through the front edge into this bracket. Let's tighten it down. Okay, now that bracket is nice and snug, let's go to do the one on the headstock. Now we're looking at the back side of the headstock, and over here on the spindle side right here, you're going to see these 2 bolt holes. The short bracket, again with the long bolts, is going to mount up through here. I'll preload the bolt and start it right into the back of the headstock. Now these brackets are actually part of the lathe, and they'll come with every one of the 1836 Revo lathes. So you can put these on right now, and these are going to hold several different accessories. All right, now I've got these in place. Now I've got my headstock bracket, my tailstock bracket on, and these are multi-purpose brackets. In a few moments, let's put a few accessories on these and show you how these work.